Hello, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and today we're doing our February TBR game. Usually I do these for the last week of the month. So for example, for February, I'd usually do this during the last week of January. But as of right now, I'm almost at the end of my January TBR in terms of finishing books. So I wanted to just get a jump on the February stuff because it's a shorter month anyway. And I love playing the game. One other thing I will tell you is that I am also participating in Polarthon hosted by Jade at JD Ray Reads. And for that readathon, a lot of the idea is to read polar fantasy or wintry kind of books. So I'm going to try to fit those type of books into whatever prompts I roll as best I can. So let's get into it. Roll number 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. I want to do middle grade because it's Polarthon this month and I just associate Jade's channel and Polarthon with middle grade. 1, 2, 3. We'll do a green pie in there. Pick a card. Sky in the title or on the cover. All right, so number 1, we got a middle grade with Sky in the title or on the cover. And we're gonna go in with a Stormy Sky on the cover. This is Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman. This is the first book in her Elemental series. And the synopsis tells us, everyone in Valen knows that ice wolves and scorched dragons are sworn enemies who live deeply separate lives. So when 12-year-old orphan Anders takes one elemental form and his twin sister Reyna takes another, he has to question whether they are even related. Still, whether or not they're family, Anders knows that Reyna is his best and only true friend. She's nothing like the brutal, cruel dragons who claim her as one of their own and stole her away. In order to rescue her, Anders will have to enlist at the foreboding Ulfar Academy, a school for young wolves that values loyalty to the pack above all else. But for Anders, loyalty is more complicated than blind obedience, and friendship is the most powerful shape-shifting force of all. I really enjoyed Amy Kaufman's writing in the science fiction series that she did with Jay Kristoff in the Illuminae series. So I'm hoping to enjoy her writing in this one. I should also mention this is going to fulfill a Polarthon prompt of blue cover. Roll number 2. 1. Pink. YA. Pink pie in there. School setting. Roll number 2, we got a YA with a school setting. I am going to be reading An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan. The Polarthon prompt that this will fulfill is a foiled cover, and let's see what the back of the book has to say. Hunter Yi has perfect aim with a bow and arrow, but all else in his life veers off course. Haunted by his family's past mistakes, the only things keeping him from running away are his younger brother, a supernatural wind, and the bewitching girl at his new school. Luna Cheng dreads the future. Graduation looms ahead, and her parents' expectations are stifling. Then her life is turned upside down by the strange new boy in her class, the unearthly fireflies that follow her around, and an ominous crack that begins to spread across the town of Fairbridge. As Hunter and Luna navigate the feud between their families and uncover hidden secrets, everything around them begins to fall apart. All they can depend on is their love, but time is running out and fate will have its way. I suppose I could have found a book like with a boarding school for a school setting, but it didn't say boarding school, it just said school setting, so they're at a school. So we're using this one. Roll number 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Orange or yellow. Let's go fantasy. Fantasy is also a part of Polarthon, and I can read things other than Polarthon, but, you know, might as well help myself out. 2 of the same letter in the title. For roll number 3, we got a fantasy, and we need a book with 2 of the same letter in the title. So I'm going to be picking a book that I spotted at Walmart recently, and I couldn't not buy it. It is North is the Night by Emily Rath. This is going to cover the Arctic Adventure prompt for Polarthon. And here is the synopsis. In the depths of the Finnish wilderness, more than wolves roam the dark woods. When a death goddess attacks their village, the best friends Siri and Aina prove helpless to stop her from dragging Aina into Tuonela, the mythical underworld. Determined to save her beloved Aina, Ciri braves a dangerous journey north, seeking help from the greatest shaman of legend, the only person ever to venture into Tuonela and return alive. There's only one problem. The stories say he has since died. In Tuonela, the cruel witch queen turns Aina's every waking moment into a living nightmare, but Aina soon learns that the god of death himself has plans for her. To escape, she strikes a costly bargain with him, not knowing that Ciri plots a daring rescue. So this sounds like it will be good. And it's set in Finland, which I don't know if I've ever read a book that's set in Finland before. My uncle lived in Finland for a while, but that's that's about it. I haven't read a book set there, I don't think. Rule number 4, 3. 1, 2, 3 blue, 1, 2, 3 green. Let's go for a blue. Blue blank, so it's kind of a wild card. And let's see what we got here. Play your TBR right from Gavin. Oh, I like playing this game. It's a little bit scary, a little bit intense, but I do like playing it. Okay, so for our next prompt, we have to play your TBR right. This is inspired by Gavin from Gavin Reads It All, formerly known as How to Train Your Gavin. This was his TBR game that he did for quite a while, and I'm shuffling some cards while I'm telling you this. I'm going to turn the camera so it's facing one of the shelves so we can see what cards we are turning over. Okay, so we've got to play our TBR right, and I've got the camera set here so that we can see cards. If I win, I'm going to be reading Bear and the Nightingale. If I lose, I'm going to be reading A Sorceress Comes to Call. All right, let's set out our 5 cards. So we're going to start here. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here are 5 cards. I can do one swap if I am too scared to move to the next step. But after I swap, then I'm stuck with what I've got. So let's turn over the first card. Oh, king. So it's got to be lower than a king. A 6, okay. Fetch. Something in me is saying higher than a 6. Dang it! Well, that was a fast game. I lost. Well, bummer. So as I said, if I won, I was going to get to read The Bear and the Nightingale, which would work well for Polarthon. But that didn't work out in my favor. So I'm going to be reading A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. Now, it's not that I didn't want to read this one. I just wanted to read The Bear and the Nightingale sooner because I've had it for a lot longer and it would fit with Polarthon. So either way, we're going to now read this one, and I think we can still make this fit one of the Polarthon prompts. So let's read the synopsis. Cordelia knows that her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms. There are no secrets in this house. And her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend. Unless you count Falada, her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him. But more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't evil sorcerers. When her mother unexpectedly moves them into the manor home of a wealthy older squire and his kind but keen-eyed sister Hester, Cordelia knows that this welcoming pair are to be her mother's next victims. But Cordelia feels at home for the very first time among these people, and as her mother's plans darken, she must decide how to face the woman who raised her to save the people who have become like family. So I think I can still make this work for Polarthon because there is a prompt. This is Animal Companion, and so the horse would fit that one, I think. Rule number 5. 1, pink or pink. I guess we'll go pink. So another YA. Okay, let's see what we get for another YA. An audiobook. I can totally handle that. Rule number 5, we got a YA audiobook. So I want to fulfill the Polar Fantasy prompt for Polarthon. So I'm going to be listening to Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuzniar. I have it checked out on Libby, and this is what the synopsis says. There's nothing Marietta Stell loves more than ballet, but after Christmas her dreams will be over as she's obligated to take her place in Edwardian society. While she's chafing against such suffocating traditions, a mysterious man purchases the neighboring townhouse. Dr. Drosselmeyer's charming but calculated figure who wins over the rest of the Stell family with his enchanting toys and wondrous mechanisms. Are you picking up on the Nutcracker vibes here? When Drosselmeyer constructs an elaborate set for Marietta's final ballet performance, she discovers it carries a magic of all of its own. On the stroke of midnight on Christmas Eve, she's transported to a snowy forest where she encounters danger at every turn. Ice giants, shadow goblins, and the shrieking mist all lurk amidst the firs and frozen waterfalls and ice cliffs. After being rescued by the butterscotch-eyed captain of the King's Guard, she is escorted to the frozen sugar palace. At once, Marietta is enchanted by this glittering world of glamorous gowns, gingerbread houses, miniature reindeer, and the most delicious confectionery. But all is not as it seems, and Marietta is soon trapped in the sumptuous palace by the sadistic King Gellum, who claims her as his own. She's confined to a gilded prison with his other pets, Delara, whose words are as sharp as her teeth, and Pirlipata, a princess from another land. Marietta must forge an alliance with the two women to carve a way free from this sugar-coated but treacherous world and back home to follow her dreams. Yet in a hedonistic world brimmed with rebellion and forbidden romance that risks everything, such a path will never be easy. As I was reading that, I kept distracting myself because I would catch a look at myself in the viewfinder and I couldn't tell if my face was exactly in focus or not. So I apologize if for some reason I went out of focus. Roll number 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Orange. Or we can go to the pink and roll again because the spots with the little dots mean roll again. But we haven't done an orange yet, so let's go there. Orange is miscellaneous, and yeah, I know it's kind of the same thing as the blue category, but that's what we're doing. A book from a previous haul. Okay. Roll number 6, we got miscellaneous, a book from a previous haul. And so this one is going to, we also chosen for Polarthon, and it is Witchwood by Tahara Mafi. It is a companion to Furthermore, but I understand you can read them out of order. At least I think so. Anyway, here's what this one has to say. Our story begins on a frosty night. Laylee can barely remember the happier times before her beloved mother died, before her father, driven by grief, lost his wits and his way, and she was left as the sole remaining Mortishore in the village of Witchwood, destined to spend her days scrubbing the skins and souls of the dead in preparation for the afterlife. It's become easy to forget and easier still to ignore not only her ever-increasing loneliness, but the way her overworked hands are stiffening and turning silver just like her hair. But soon a pair of familiar strangers appear and Laylee's world is turned upside down as she rediscovers color, magic, and the healing power of friendship. Alright, let's scoot this orange pie thing into the space and go for roll number 7. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brown. We haven't done a brown realistic yet, so let's go here. Brown pie in there. Not a debut. Okay. Roll number 7, we got realistic, not a debut. And I'm going to read something that has nothing to do with winter. It says, Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. So I'm doing a blind date with a book challenge with my students, and the blind date book that was picked for me is this one. So if you haven't read Casey West before, definitely check her out. She writes YA contemporary romance, and it's clean. Like, my middle schoolers can read her, no problem. Okay, so this one says, talking to other people isn't Kate Bailey's favorite activity. She'd much rather be out on the lake soaking up the solitude and sunshine. So when her best friend Alana convinces Kate to join their high school's podcast, Kate is not expecting to be chosen as the host. Now she'll have to answer calls from listeners and give advice on the air. Impossible. But to Kate's surprise, she turns out to be pretty good at hosting. Then the podcast gets a call from an anonymous guy asking for advice about his unnamed crush. Suddenly, Kate finds that while doling out wisdom to others may be easy, asking for help is tougher than it looks, and following your own advice is even harder. So this should be really cute and fun. Roll number 8. 3. 1, 2, 3 blue. 1, 2, 3 blue. Easy decision. Okay, blue blank. Set in the future. Rule number 8, give us a blue blank, something set in the future, and I found a book set in the future that has snow in the title. I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I made this work with the Polarthon day. The Casey West book's going to fit the cozy vibes prompt. I don't know if I said, but which wood is going to fit the white cover prompt, because even though it's not completely white, there's a whole lot of white on it. And this one is going to complete the snowy prompt because it is called Snow Globe. This is by Sue Young Park, and here's what the synopsis tells us. Enclosed under a vast dome, Snow Globe is the last place on Earth that's warm. Outside Snow Globe is a frozen wasteland, and every day citizens face the icy world to get to their jobs at the power plant, where they produce the energy Snow Globe needs to keep running. Their only solace comes in the form of 24-hour television programming streamed directly from the domed city. The residents of Snow Globe have everything: fame, fortune, and above all, safety from the desolation outside their walls. In exchange, their lives are broadcast to the less fortunate, who watch eagerly, hoping for the chance to one day become actors themselves. Chobam, 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 lives for the time she spends watching the shows produced inside Snow Globe. Her favorite, Go Around, starring Go Harry, Snow Globe's biggest star, and it turns out the key to getting Chobam her dream life. Because Harry is dead and Chobam has been chosen to take her place, only life inside Snow Globe is nothing like what you see on television. Reality is a lie, and truth seems to be forever out of reach. Rule number 9. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pink. Let's go to green since we already have 2 pinks in the other one. Green is middle grade, and play Spookopoly-thon. Oh boy, I've got extra games to play. We can play Spookopoly-thon right now, but the problem is that every time I play this, I always end up somewhere down here because we start in the corner and I can only roll up to 6. So what I'm gonna do is do a random number generator. I've got it set between 1 and 40, because that's the number of spaces on the board. Gonna hit it 3 times, and that will be our starting place, and then we'll roll the dice to go from there. So 1, 2, 3, 14. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14. All right, so this is gonna be our starting place, and I'm going to roll the dice now. Does Becca roll 1 or 2 dice? Okay, her rules say that she rolls 2 6-sided dice, so we'll roll this twice and add them to get our number. 2 plus 5, so we're going to move 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Feed scroll. So that means I've got to get on Instagram and start scrolling through books, and I need to find one that I have or that I can get on Kindle Unlimited and read from there. So I'm gonna be honest, the Instagram scroll is not my favorite thing to do, but the game says what it says, right? Okay, so number 9, we did Spookopoly-thon, and then we had to do an Instagram scroll. And so what I found was a post full of middle grade books, and one that I happen to have, Kareem Between. This is by Shifa Saltagi Safadi, and it is a novel in verse. And here is what the synopsis says. 7th grade begins, and Kareem's already fumbled it. His best friend moved away, he messed up his tryout for the football team, and because of his heritage, he was voluntold to show the new kid, a Syrian refugee with a thick and embarrassing accent, around school. Just when Kareem thinks his middle school life has imploded, the hotshot QB promises to get Kareem another tryout for the squad. There's a catch. To secure that chance, Kareem must do something he knows is wrong. Then, like a surprise blitz, Kareem's mom returns to Syria to help her family, but can't make it back home. If Kareem could throw a penalty flag on the fouls of his school and home life, it would be for unnecessary roughness. Kareem is stuck between countries, between friends, between football, between parents, and between right and wrong. It's up to him to step up, find his confidence, and navigate the beauty and hope found somewhere in the middle. I can't find a Polarthon pick that this will fit. So that's unfortunate, unless there is one prompt that's called warm. Like if I get kind of warm, cozy feelings in my heart while reading it, maybe that would count. Roll number 10. 2. 1, 2 blue, 1, 2 yellow. Let's go for a yellow. You know, I've realized I hardly ever use that roll again option. That's okay. It's there if I need it. All right, yellow fantasy and a book with a map. Number 10, we got a fantasy book with a map, and this will fit also the snowy cover prompt for Polathon. I'm going to read it, The Fox Wife by this person that I can't say their name. Manchuria, 1908. In the last years of the dying Qing Empire, a courtesan is found frozen in a doorway. Her death is clouded by rumors of foxes, which are believed to lure people by transforming themselves into beautiful women and handsome men. Bao, a detective with an uncanny ability to sniff out the truth, is hired to uncover the dead woman's identity. Since childhood, Bao has been intrigued by the fox gods, yet they've remained tantalizingly out of reach until perhaps now. Meanwhile, a family who owns a famous Chinese medicine shop can cure ailments but can't escape the curse that afflicts them. Their eldest son dies before their 24th birthdays. Eldest sons die before their 24th birthdays. When a disruptively winsome servant named Snow enters their household, the family's luck seems to change. Or does it? Snow is a creature of many secrets, but most of all, she is a mother seeking vengeance for her lost child. Hunting a murderer, she will follow the trail from northern China to Japan, while Bao follows doggedly behind. Navigating the myths and misconceptions of fox spirits, both Snow and Bao will encounter old friends and new foes even as more deaths occur. And here is the map. Roll number 11. 1. Orange or brown. Let's go for orange. That also says book with a map. Let's draw again. That says 2 of the same letter in the title, which we've got on another one. Let's draw again. You know what? Let's take the top card. Random letter generator. Okay. All right, let's just do this right on the camera. I've got letters of the alphabet on this wheel. We'll spin 3 times. Why do I always do 3? Because that's what Kaylani does, and I am stealing from her. All right, K will not be our letter. This is pickerwheel.com, by the way, if you're interested. I will not be our letter. So this is it. This is our letter. We get what we get and we don't throw a fit, right? J. Number 11, we got random letter generator and we got J. And I'm going to pick a book with an author whose first name begins with J. Again, I don't know how I made this work because this will also fit the icy prompt for Polathon. This is The Bright and Pale by Jessica Rubikowski. 17-year-old Valeria is one of the only survivors of the freeze, a dark magical hold knot mountain unleashed on her village. Everyone, including her family, is trapped in an unbreakable sheet of ice. Ever since, she's been on the run from the Tsar, who's determined to imprison anyone who managed to escape. Valeria finds refuge within the Thieves' Guild, doing odd jobs with her best friend, Alik, the only piece of home she has left. That is, until he is brutally murdered. A year later, she discovered Alik is alive and being held against his will. To buy his freedom, she must lead a group of cutthroats and thieves on a perilous expedition to the very mountain that claimed her family. Only something sinister slumbers in the heart of Knot, and it has waited years for release. This is inspired by Russian folklore, which I love, so this will be fun. Rule number 12. 2. That feels kind of anticlimactic. Let's go 2 and do another orange. All right, we need one last card for our orange pick, our final orange pick, and we have Sarah Renee card pick. All right, so when I'm back in the office, I'm gonna pull a Sarah Renee color palette card, and we'll have to match our book of choice to that color palette. And for book number 12, we got Sarah Renee Clark pick, so I'm gonna do a random number generator, and that will give us the number of the card. Okay, 292. We have these gorgeous colors here. Here's another look at them on the back. And I went and found a book that would match. So this is Black Star Bright Dawn by Scott Odell. They were a team, the young Eskimo girl and the white dog, part husky but mostly wolf. A team, yes, but in some ways Black Star was the leader. Bright Dawn never expected to compete in the Iditarod. I know words. The dog sled race, yeah, we know what that is. But now she's here watching the trail skim by and her dog's running with their ears laid back and she can't imagine being anywhere else. So it's kind of like a wilderness survival thing. Scott Odell, if you haven't heard of him, go look him up. Island of Blue Dolphins, one of the best books ever. All right, I started talking a bit fast because my camera battery is gonna die and I really wanna finish filming so I don't have to go grab the cord. So that is gonna conclude our TBR for the month of February. I hope you guys have had an awesome reading month in January thus far. And hit me up in the comments below and let me know what you've been reading lately and if you've been enjoying it. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.